What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York, calling from the quarantine zone again. Hope you all are safe out there and you all are good to each other. This time, we got Jake of Morning in May. Thank you for your time today, man.
Yo, how's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. There's some big things happening apparently right now in the world. But most importantly is that we got some new Morning in May out right now. You released the Somewhere in Slumber EP, and also you released your new single featuring Craig Mabbitt, Orpheus in Retrospect. So simply put, how's everything been with Morning in May lately? Obviously very busy, right?
It's been very busy. There's been a lot of movement. We've been changing up a lot of stuff. It's pretty cool. We're trying to stay busy while we can't do anything. We're just focusing our actions somewhere else. So
Yeah. Do you feel like that the Somewhere in Slumber EP and the Orpheus in Retrospect featuring Craig Mabbitt, could this maybe serve as like a clear representation of like the direction that Morning in May is going into, or are you guys going to experiment a little bit further with your sound?
I think every time we write a song, we kind of experiment. We never go, okay, like we play this kind of music, so we're only going to do this and stick to this. We take elements of everything we've listened to and like grown up listening to, and we put it all together just so that there's something for everybody, but also ourselves. I think it was pretty important to do. So I guess in a sense of you're gonna know it's us when you're listening to it, but we like to elaborate on our own genre, so we kind of try to hit everything.
Yeah. Do you usually start the songwriting process with like a preconceived idea on how you want it to sound, or is there kind of like a lot of improvising and like trial and error?
There's either every song's different, so it's either like one of us will have a riff that we're working on, and we just show that, and we kind of build on that, or I'll write a whole chorus without any music or anything, just how the vocals are going to go, and then we'll expand on that. It's every time's different. It's really neat. Sometimes like the whole song's done and the melody, and they'll send it over and go, all right, dude, do your thing, and then I'll start singing to it, and whatever comes out. It's kind of neat.
So is it fair to say that maybe like the way that a song starts, do you think that could almost determine the results of it since you approach the music from multiple directions?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. Like we started a song and it completely goes way where I never even thought of. So yeah, that's my that.
That's always like the craziest thing with art, how it starts off with one way and ends up something completely different.
For sure.
Yep. Now, being a vocalist, have you always needed to hear the music to come up with lyrics, or has there ever been a time where maybe like a concept or maybe a subject matter could help dictate the direction of the music?
Oh yeah, it's pretty much, it's never the music really for me. I'll think of something. It's all tones. I don't so much write in, like the lyrics only come in tones. So I'll feel a certain way, or I'll listen to the music, and it'll give me something, and then I just elaborate off of that. Like whether it's people see shapes or people see colors and stuff while they listen to music, and I kind of do the same thing. So if I hear a riff, or I'll just start building off of whatever that initial feeling is.
You have the synesthesia.
Yeah.
Yep. So like if you don't mind me asking, like what color were you seeing when was the color you were seeing very different from At Least I Still Have My Personality to This Store Only Brought You 5 Minutes? Like was it a different color every single time?
Yeah, Personality was like a very blue and midnight kind of thing going on, and then This Door is actually just complete neon green for me. It was weird.
Complete neon green.
Yeah.
That was honestly that was the last color I was expecting to hear when I listened to that song.
Really?
Yeah, but that makes us different, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, have you ever also had like the best lyrics ever, but then they're always like one syllable over like the arrangement of every song?
All the time, actually. So when we were a pop punk band, I did this thing where I tried to be as clever as possible, and I tried to write as many words, pretty much without rapping, but melodically that would make sense. And then we're really good friends with Justin Morrow. He's in Motionless right now. When we started writing and stuff with him, he was still a nice 9, but he would just be like, Jake, stop. Like, you have so many words. He's like, space it out, cut the song in half. It doesn't need to be so wordy. So we kind of stopped doing that, and I kind of just focused more on like the melody of the song, and instead of trying to make something fit, if it doesn't fit naturally, then I just write something else.
Mm-hmm. And that's got to be heartbreaking too, right? Where do you almost feel like you're like watering down your message or something like that?
It does. Well, I just see it as that message wasn't supposed to be said in this song at this time. Maybe somewhere down the line, maybe in the bridge it'll work. Like it'll work somewhere else in something else. So it's kind of exciting because you know that you got something on the back burner that's killer that you've been wanting to say for a while that comes out later.
Mm-hmm. Do you like to leave the music open to interpretation, or being that you really do kind of put so much focus into the lyrics, you maybe try to engage the listener into the subject matter that you're singing about?
I kind of write, especially with this new single, I kind of write general enough so everybody kind of has their own story with each song. At a lot of times I don't really have a focus when I write. I just write words that feel good to say, and then at the end of the song, like you kind of listen to what people have to say about it, and then you go, oh my god, like the whole song could be about that, or the whole song is about this. I'll have, like I said, feelings and certain things while I'm writing, and it ends up subconsciously making sense as a grander picture. I think it's kind of neat.
Well, when you base your lyrics off of like an emotion or maybe like a timestamp, do you find it maybe like the longer you're working on something, the harder it is to kind of like maintain that emotional spark in a way?
Yeah. If I'm away or working on a song for too long, it ends up I'll lose this and start writing it this way or start writing it that way, and it ends up just being all over the place, which sometimes makes a cooler song, or sometimes I just leave it and go, okay, I need to work on something else, like restart. All of these lyrics are garbage. Now I need to do something else.
If you are an artist that could do that, that's like an artistic trait that you should almost be proud of, because I think one of the hardest things to do from, talking to so many artists is like putting something down and coming back to it later, or, like throwing something away and starting over. I don't understand how so many people do that.
Right.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to like getting inspired, do you almost like look for the inspiration, or does it just come to you out of nowhere sometimes?
I do a lot of writing in my car and in the shower. I guess it's just alone time. I'll hear something or somebody will say something and that kind of sparks it. It's not so much listening to other music, but if something's going on or I feel a certain way, when you're like 10 and in school and somebody says something to you and you just kind of go over your mind, like what you would say to them back, but the time's passed. It's kind of like that. Like, oh, I could say this. This would be pretty cool. Like you're almost talking to yourself in the mirror. That's kind of how I write. And like whatever gives me chills or goosebumps when I say a certain line in a certain way. That's kind of like, oh, that's it. And then I'll just build off of that.
I hope when you're riding in the car, you know to pull over.
Well, writing in my mind, I'll just say it over and over. I'm not gonna. Yep. I'm completely safe the whole time. Definitely not like typing it out or anything.
Okay. So. I've always said that like pilots who are artists are the scariest thing in the world. I hope they're not getting inspired as they're like, approaching the tarmac or something like that.
Yeah. These are good questions. I like these. You got like the real questions.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Now, of course, with the new single, the new collaboration that you did with Craig Mabbitt, could this new single, Orpheus in retrospect, this is obviously the newest. I got a couple questions regarding this one song. This is obviously the newest offering from Morning in May. So can this musically serve as like a good representation too on what you guys are going to do in the future? Oh,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we really started writing in a new way. I have a couple new guys as well, and it's definitely going to be different. This song, we have a couple other songs that we're waiting to drop, but they're all a certain way. Yeah.
And obviously working with Craig Mabbitt, did that teach you new things? Because I mean, his work with, first of all, that first album he did with Bless the Fall, I still jam that over a decade later, and like his stuff with Escape the Fate, and all of his collaborations. Obviously, working with him has had to teach you some new things as well, right?
Yeah, he not as much as I thought. I kind of thought I was gonna have like no input or nothing to say. But he was more inclined and more. He just wanted to really figure out what I wanted, and he just did things a couple certain ways, and he ended up killing it. He really just wanted to execute what I thought and what I had. He really, as far as like sound engineering and how to do stuff a certain way, but really not songwriting. We were kind of like on point with each other.
That's awesome. And when it comes to collaborating with another artist too, like especially this I think is more of an appropriate band with a band with like two singers. But like if you are singing with somebody else, you guys kind of have to be in the same headspace, right, to make the song sound cohesive.
Yeah, that's why I'll write a lot of I write all the screen parts and stuff. I write all the words for everything. So I kind of just play it through from start to finish, like who would do what where, and that's why I kind of picked Craig, because he kind of does stuff a similar way. And I sent him the track and I was like, "Can you do this here?" And he's like, "Yeah, this is what I'm feeling and stuff." So it was kind of cool. He really knew what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it.
Now, one thing I was very much curious about in terms of your sound is because having multiple usages of your voice, like, having screened parts and having more melodic vocals, do you almost feel like depending on how you're using your voice, you're almost expressing a different side of you as well?
Yeah, I always feel like I'm a cartoon character when I go into the booth, pretty much. When I record, I don't know that I do it all that much, but I want it to be super theatrical. I want it to be like a fourth or fifth dimension of songwriting. I don't want to just be like, all right, I'm just listening to this. Yeah, I got the feels on a couple things. I want you to feel like you're in a movie theater, like listening to a song, and you can feel certain things. And it's I always tell people it's like writing a script. So there's a plot to the song. You got to introduce different characters, which would be different emotions. But you're putting on a play from start to finish. So there's a resolution, there's a climax, there's kind of like a self-reflection period, and then there's the conclusion of it. That's kind of how I write it.
Do you almost feel like you're in a way portraying a character in the music or even on stage?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Music's to be and feel everything you can.
Is this character that maybe you portray like in a direct extension of who you are, or do you feel like music is ultimately just an escape from like the reality in which you live in?
I think I just use it to say things that you wouldn't be able to. You kind of can mask things that you want, or I definitely exaggerate on a lot of things, but
as you should.
Yeah, it's definitely a character of all the things that I would like. Yeah, I kind of write music to give people that don't necessarily have the confidence to listen to the song and be like, yeah, I can do that. Like, it just gives you the confidence or the sincerity that you need. I want to say things that people don't, that really can't, or they're in a position where they can't.
And like obviously that kind of going back to the interpretational aspect of like the lyrics and the music in itself, like I feel like it almost seems like you have both like a literal and metaphorical standpoint, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so like at what point like do you like I guess when you want to say what you want to say in the music, how do you kind of pick the direction from how you're approaching it?
Like I said, back in the car kind of thing. Like if I say something that like makes my hair stand up or really gets me going, I will just say it. I won't. There doesn't need to be any metaphors. And then when I fill the space, like the verses or the chorus, I feel it's important to make it general enough so that it does help as many people as possible, instead of just saying this is about this and nothing else, and this is how I need to say it.
Mm-hmm. You ready for the most difficult question of the whole interview?
For sure.
How do you know when a song is done?
Technically, it should never ever be done, but when I don't think you can make any more reasonable or rational tweaks to the song, I think it's done.
Yeah, have you ever listened to the song and then like discovered, like when it's finally finished, have you ever like listened to the song and then be like, fuck, I should have done that here?
Absolutely. I think I'll be doing that for any song I write ever till the day I die. Like, oh, I could have did this here, I could have changed it here, we could have did this here.
That should be an interesting career path for artists in the future. To other starting bands out there, write one song in your whole career and just make every album a different remix of that and see how.
Right.
Yeah, that'd actually be a very easy career.
For sure.
Yeah, especially if you write a hit single.
That's right.
Take notes. And the final question I wanted to ask you is, you guys are based out in Ohio right now, and I've interviewed so many great bands from Ohio, from Columbus, and from Cleveland, and from Cincinnati, and like it just seems like there's a great scene for what you guys do there. Do you agree, or is right now the goal for when shows do return is to kind of go outside your state lines a little bit more?
We actually have the most presidents and the most astronauts from Ohio, which is kind of neat. This is a lot of friends I have that are higher in the business, and a lot of interviews and famous people I've seen and stuff from Ohio. It's such a state that's so pretty and nice, but you don't want to be here. It's cool enough because it's in a spot where you can do things, but it's not cool enough to want to stay.
Mm-hmm.
So you just want to get out. And yeah, I mean, as soon as it's a beautiful, it's all in, you don't want to be here too long. It's all in increments. It's all fine and nice. But yeah, I mean, as soon as tours open up and stuff, we're gonna be out for sure.
Mm-hmm. I always thought that, like, because of like the history with bands like Nine Inch Nails coming from there, and then Ringworm coming from there, and so many phenomenal bands like Boba Flex and whatnot, that it just seemed like that would be a good place to kind of like have a musical career, or at least to start out if there was like a scene or something.
There's really nothing to do in Ohio, so it really breeds not perfection, but it's so diluted. You really have to work hard to stand out, and you really like. I was just I get a couple inquiries. Fans ask me a bunch of questions all the time, and how to do stuff. So I was talking to this one girl who's really trying to break out, and I told her, like, you want to be the best. Like, everybody's good in high school, and then you go to college, and you can be the best in high school, and you go to college, and then everybody's like phenomenal. So, like, if whatever sport you're doing or anything like that, I think Ohio's kind of the same thing. Ohio would be college in that aspect. You just have to do so much and like to get ahead at all, because everybody's kind of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of good bands that come out of here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Is there just anything else with Morning in May that you would like to promote, like maybe some live stream performances, or obviously, thanks to a certain virus that shall not be named, obviously shows aren't happening, but obviously we'll see you on the road quite a bit. Can you come to New York City very soon, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Is there anything you would like to promote in terms of live streams or something like that?
Not so much playing, because the guys are kind of scattered all over the country right now. But no, just follow us, check us out, what we're doing. We're dropping a couple of singles here. That's all part of the concept album. Yeah. Sweet.
We look forward to We look forward to hearing it. And all your members are scattered out right now. Where are you guys all based out of? If you're in Ohio, where's everybody else?
I'm in Cleveland. Zach is almost in Pennsylvania, and then Mike is in North Carolina.
You guys need a European member.
We do. We really do.
Yep. In fact, I've always said that there needs to be a band where one member's in the United States, one member's in South America. Well, like you need like a member on every continent.
Right. Right. That'd be like 7. That's like 7 people.
Yeah. And then your practice space is on like an island in the middle of like the ocean where you could all equally meet up.
Right. And neutral territory.
Exactly. But thank you so much, Jake. Everybody, we are here with Jake of Morning in May. Be sure to check out their newest single, Orpheus in Retrospect, featuring Craig Mabbitt, and check out their latest EP as well. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.